Hello and welcome to another resource video for Weeds in My Garden. I'm Dana McGee, a counselor in training at Timberlake Counseling. Today I want to talk about something that touches millions of lives, yet still goes unspoken: depression. We tend to think of depression as simply feeling sad, but it's far more complex than that. Depression is a medical condition, one that affects how we think, feel, and function every day. It can rob people of joy, motivation, and even hope, and it doesn't discriminate. It affects people of all ages, backgrounds, and walks of life. Let's start with what the DSM-5, the Diagnostic Manual for Mental Health Disorders, tells us depression is. Depression isn't just one disorder, it comes in many forms. First is major depressive disorder, or MDD. This is what most people think of when they hear depression. It includes symptoms like persistent sadness, loss of interest in activities, changes in appetite or sleep, fatigue, and feeling of worthlessness, lasting at least 2 weeks or more. Bipolar depression occurs during the depressive phase of bipolar disorder, alternating episodes of mania and hypomania. These depressive periods can be just as severe as MDD, but the treatment and course are different. Seasonal affective disorder. This is depression that follows seasonal pattern, usually worsening in the winter months due to reduced sunlight. It's a reminder of how connected our brains are to the environment. Postpartum depression affects some women after childbirth. This is not just baby blues. It can involve serious mood changes, exhaustion, and feelings of disconnection from the baby. Depression-related grief or loss can be complicated. Grieving is natural, but when sadness becomes prolonged and interferes with daily functioning, it may cross the line into clinical depression. Mixed anxiety and depressive disorders is another category. In many people, depression and anxiety are intertwined. The sadness and hopelessness of depression can be accompanied by restlessness, worry, and physical symptoms of anxiety. And importantly, in teenagers, depression doesn't always look like sadness. It may look more like irritability, anxiety, isolation, or even physical complaints. That's why it's so crucial to recognize how depression presents differently across age groups. Now, what's actually happening in the brain? Imaging studies show us that depression is not just in your head emotionally, it's literally in your brain. People with long-term depression may show shrinking in key brain areas like the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex regions, involved in memory, emotional regulation, and decision-making. This shrinking is likely due to withdrawal, reduced stimulation, and lack of meaningful social and physical interaction. But here's the powerful part: the brain can recover. Activity, social connection, therapy, prayer, and even exercise have all been known to increase brain connectivity. They light up the brain again and reactivating networks that depression shuts down. Treatment matters, connection matters, faith matters. Depression can feel like being underwater, muted, heavy, and isolated, but help is real and recovery is possible. There are effective treatments, therapy, medications, lifestyle changes, and support systems. But first, we have to talk about it. We have to remove the stigma and recognize that depression is not weakness, it's an illness. And like any illness, it deserves compassion and treatment. If you or someone you love is struggling, know that you're not alone. Reaching out for help is a sign of strength, not failure. To wrap up, depression is real, it's complex, and it takes many forms. Whether it's MDD, bipolar depression, postpartum, grief-related, or mixed with anxiety. And yes, it can shrink the brain, but it doesn't shrink your worth, your potential, or your capacity to heal. Let's keep the conversation open, support one another, and remember that healing begins with connection. We've included links to this resource and guided worksheets for a deeper dive into growing your self-esteem in a godly way. Thank you and have a blessed day.